This is Sophie Aldred with The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS.
Live from the internet, it's Tuesday night. That means it's time for the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Welcome, fellow Whovians. How are you all doing? Welcome. We've got a heck of a show for you tonight. I am in a perfect location for the Army of Ghosts because I'm in New Orleans right now. And so it's going to be super exciting. I'm happy. I am out in the lobby, so there's like a bit of a beeping, and occasionally people might wander through. But I'm here, you're here, and none of us are alone. Let's start with a person we have not seen in some time. And who better to join us for an Army of Ghosts than the spooky one himself, Mr. Mark Muncie.
Hi, gang. Good to see you all. Greetings from the other side. And greetings, eerie travelers who might be joining us. So from my podcast about myths, monsters, ghosts, and legends. So happy to be here.
So happy to have you guys here. Also joining us, Mr. Nick Smith. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Long time no see.
I am fresh back from Pensacon in Pensacola, Florida, where I met a strange gentleman called Dave Chapman. He was right
Hello.
there. I can't escape from him.
No, never.
Ah.
Yes, that's correct. It was a good time. It was a good time.
It was an awesome con. Yes.
Fortunately, you know, Mark wasn't there either.
That's never a miss, but this year suddenly dealing with some health issues, so couldn't quite.
Yeah, exactly. Your absence was noted by many. But
next year, I'll be back
next year.
Candyman.
Hence why I'm called the Candyman, because otherwise it gets really confusing when everyone calls Mark and everyone goes, "What?"
Right.
Yep.
So I'm okay.
Mark. Now I just need to get like the other David Chapman in here, and we can have David Chapman and David Chapman and Mark and Mark.
Mark and
Mark and David Chapman.
We'll throw in a couple mics. We'll throw in a couple mics, and that really screws everything up. So
exactly. Yep. And who else do we have? But of course,
for me, Mark.
Mark Christian Basil.
Is everyone just going to be called Mark for this?
Yeah, I thought that was the weirdest segue we ever had.
Can we all just call you Bruce? Keep it easy.
Happy birthday,
I'll by Mark David Chapman if you really want me to, and if you know why I shouldn't, you might not want me to. Who else do we have though? We've got, of course.
Wait a minute. Happy birthday, Nick.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You're gonna pass it up. Happy birthday, Nick.
I appreciate that.
Happy birthday, Nick.
I'm not letting this go. Timescales, ho folks. I'm leaving that,
folks.
I'm gonna leave that up for the entire duration of the show, right?
There you
go. So why don't we get this thing? I know Mark's only got a certain amount of time. I've only got a certain amount of time.
This Mark is only. I've got a limited operating window, gang.
Well, let him do his thing first, and we'll go with news later. Then.
No, do the news. I'm good for a little bit.
Okay, we'll do the news.
We don't have a lot of news, so
all right.
Not much.
Scare the kids. It's news time.
Hi guys.
Candyman's the only one not wearing brainy specs today. He didn't get the memo.
I had to dig and find these and everything because for later they're going to be fun and everything.
How 1980s is that?
Well, let's dispel rumors right now. There is no quitting. There is no sabotaging. Nobody's getting fired or anything because it seems there's a rumor going around that Oshodi has quit Doctor Who and everything, but no, the BBC has disproved it. And the only thing I've ever tracked down so far is that they are working on contracts for season 3. So as far as I asked if there's going to be a new region. They said no comment and everything. So everybody who's seen those posts, BBC already confirmed it. They are still on track with Doctor Who, Disney Plus, everything and stuff like that. So at least that's one good thing. You know what I mean? But we do have a couple of birthdays, especially our own Nick and everything. But we have, if you're a fan of the Great American Superhero, William Catt, he had a birthday just recently, as well as someone I might know, Brina, and she hates when I misspell her or mispronounce it, Palencia and everything, of anime fame and everything, and also Walking Dead. But our best is Christopher Eccleston, who gave us a present right now because we're getting a whole new Big Finish with Rose Tyler and a few episodes, which I'm hoping we can get Alex Kingston in on because she's also wanting to work with more of the doctors and everything. So imagine a Rose and Ninth Doctor and River combo. That's going to be interesting.
Rose.
Good night, Rose.
Good night, Rose. No, not yet. Not yet.
And then we also have, this is the only bad thing about these things. We also have coming up, there's been a book published, and I'm trying to make sure I get the right. It's Tildeso Publishing has put, the author Alex Storer has put out a book, The Evolution of the Toy Dalek, and
Is that
basically,
Tedesto or Telos Publishing?
that's what I'm trying to pronounce. It's
Yes,
TELOS.
Telos, the planet
Telos.
Telos, the cyber planet Telos. Yeah.
Mm.
Cyber-
And it looks
Sorry.
like a good book and everything. We have the video footage of him opening the box, but it's not the author, it's the actual publisher and everything. And they're trying to get the author on there because they say that they might have a few copies signed and you can get them through their website and everything. But it looks really cute and everything. All the little toys, he said, even Scarrow and everything's in there. Yeah. DALEKHAL and stuff like that. But at the end of this month, I hope you guys are ready for another podcast. It seems David Tennant does a podcast with whoever he wants to, because he's going to be bringing on a few choice guests for this podcast and everything. And he says there's more to come and stuff. So I would check your local channels and everything and stuff to see when this podcast premieres and everything. But we also had a debate between Pinky and Happy, but that'll be something for everybody else later on to decide.
Pinky.
And everything, but otherwise we did have a cool shot of Oshodi and our next companion, and I'm not going to butcher her name and everything, at an event. I think it was a GQ event for Britain and everything. It was called Mom and Dad's Night Out, but they look really good in this picture and everything, and it's dispelling the rumors because they are going to be probably a third season and everything and stuff like that. But the craziest thing was, if you saw the BAFTAs, our doctor met our Skywalker. That was like the best. Like, some people were commenting on that, except there was a situation of a wardrobe malfunction, and some people got a glimpse of the lightsaber and everything, saber and everything. But otherwise, it was good.
Did he use the Force?
Hey, at least it could have been a Sonic, but he made sure when he had his kilt on while during I will walk 1,000 miles and everything to the BAFTAs to position himself nicely. But Mr. Mark Hamill decided accidentally to flash a few people in the audience and everything accidentally, because his we found out later his belt did break and everything. But he handled it very well and everything. He made sure to keep on cue, and even only, like I said, a few people saw the saber, but that's it.
Okay.
But otherwise, not much.
I'm going to go happiness patrol all over Little Boy Blue if you're not careful.
Hey now. Hey now.
And guys, if you're hearing about this, we have a debate going on because we have Squishy behind me. And we have Little Boy Blue, or we would call him, can I say the name? To go with the, because we want to call this one Pinky.
Happy.
But Dave wants Happy. And we thought I was thinking also we have Pinky, Squishy. Instead of Little Boy Blue, we go with Bluey. But I was informed there's something wrong with that.
That would be offensive to Bluey.
Yeah.
Bluey the dog.
Yeah.
Much rather not.
Yeah, you just offended all the UK. Thank you so much.
No, he just went from like a PG to a R rated.
There we go.
Yeah, we're now getting flagged.
Are we in the first? Oh, we're fine. We're in the first 10 minutes, so we're fine.
Oh, okay, we're good.
Yeah. That's why we get this out of the way first, because this is like unscripted news, and I think everybody likes it because it does remind them of another event, which is not Who related. But as you all know, we had the 50th anniversary of Saturday Night Live. So basically, I've been talking to people, we've been compared to their news things. So I think we're doing very well. We have been, yes, because you know how they're on the way they script theirs and they break character every time. Yeah, so we've been compared to that. So I've been talking to a lot of people I know, and they like this unscriptedness. So maybe we'll be on for another 50 years, right?
Hopefully.
I look like Norm Macdonald. So
poor Norm.
Yeah.
We'll have Mark Muncy stuffed and propped up in the corner.
Coat me in shellac and just put me in a corner. I'll just
all the kids will be hosting, right? And everything. All the kids.
I told my kids to do. I'm not been donating to science. I'm donating myself to haunts. So they can just put me around haunted house to haunted house, and then just keep me in the corner of the show. So we're good.
Do a Bloodstone set of things, hello. Muncy.
Make me as Goltar Make me a Zoltar machine. I can read your future and stuff.
Exactly.
So that'd be great.
I'd drag your ass to Key West and put you in a bride outfit and mummify.
I'll hang out with Robert the Doll down there.
I just found out they freeze dry pets now. People don't want to bury their pet now. They're freeze drying them and putting them in cases. So yeah,
and they taste awful.
Sorry. Let's get into the news, folks.
Oh, hold on.
That's the news.
Wait, where is it?
What?
Oh, there's so many pictures with it.
Yeah.
So, on to the Army of Ghosts.
I'm surprised you guys don't have your 3D specs.
Mine are all Mystery Science Theater themed, and I didn't think it was appropriate. So,
because they don't have them.
I did wear my Ghost Watch shirt.
Yes. Army of Ghost Watch.
Ghost Watch, the greatest television movie of all time that terrified me when I was in England one night. My one night, Halloween night in England, I was 1990, I think.
Yeah, it was right.
And I had just gone to Europe, and I was coming home after spending 6 weeks in Romania and Rome and Italy and all this stuff. I'd spent the night in Dracula's castle. I'd done all these spooky things, and I'm coming home, and it's Halloween night. I'm like, I'm going to watch Doctor Who. Oh, wait, it was the dark years. Doctor Who wasn't on. There was no Doctor Who anywhere in the UK at this point. And I'm like, well, what's on the BBC? I'll see what's on the BBC. And it was this call-in show about ghosts. And I was awesome because Lister showed up on it. Craig Charles showed up on it. He was being goofy in this haunted house. And they start talking to this family, and they're going to spend the night here and watching these kids with a ghost. I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. I what a good show. And I'm in this creepy old hotel and just out in downtown London, and I'm watching this and sharing a bathroom with 10 other people. I wasn't used to that. This was all new.
Hello.
What's that?
Wait.
The first hostel.
At the same time.
No hotel room had bathrooms. They had one bathroom each floor, so you had to share.
First ever hostel.
It was weird, but I'm not used to. I'm used to Holiday Inn. Come on. And I'm sitting there, and this show comes on, and I'm watching it. There it is. Yep. And as it's going on, I start realizing, hey, this is the Enfield poltergeist case. This is just like a different version of that. Yeah. And I was very familiar with that. I'd mailed Hans Holzer back in the day and talked to him about it. I had met Ed and Lorraine Warren when I was a kid and all this. So I'm like, wow, I am riveted to this. Of course, it's very much, spoiler alert, it's very much War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. They were pranking the audience, and they got me. But halfway in, I started realizing, all right, this is a setup. But early on,
they made announcements through the show that it was a hoax, and yet still people believed it.
Well, they didn't until like about midway in when they realized what was happening, when they were getting the calls. I guess at the call they did the exact same thing before the world did. They realized, oops, we screwed up. But you can find it on YouTube. Definitely worth a watch. And it was mentioned in this episode, which was a fun throwback. So I was very pleased that when we were talking about this episode, I'm like, oh, I gotta come on for this. So
Scaramouche, can you do the fandangos?
We're not no.
Christian, don't give up your day job.
So we'll talk about Pipes the Ghost and all this stuff. And oh yeah, there was some Doctor Who references in this episode. I forgot. But yeah, definitely worth it if you get a chance. Find it. Well worth it. It's on Amazon Prime and a few other places, and if you hunt hard enough, you can find it.
Very cool.
Bad pun.
Yay.
Hunt, enough. I'm sure you said hunt, but I certainly heard haunt hard enough.
You can do that too.
Haunt.
All right, so Gadget.
Mm-hmm.
Just to try and drag us back, kicking and screaming on topic. What? How many TARDISes did you give our subject of today, being the Army of Ghosts?
Oh,
9.
9. Ooh. Mm-hmm. And how about you, Candyman?
Okay, I'm going to shock you guys here. 8. Sorry, no points, just an 8.
Okay.
You slacker.
Yeah.
Okay, 8.1.
And Nick, what about yourself?
Couldn't even round it up to 8.1.
I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to give it a 9.
9. Excellent. And Mr. Muncie?
I give it a solid 8 as well.
8.
Wow.
And what about you, Christian?
Just a piss off mark, 8.1. So I don't have to go first. This is so much.
That's a fair thing to make happen.
Is Mark Muncie interested in haunted historical sites?
No,
You
I don't
betcha.
think so. No.
My job, Roger,
Let's see here.
travels.
What do you think?
Asked about going to haunted locations and discussing folklore, legends, and haunted history, and as well as Bigfoot, UFOs, everything. And that's my library all around me is full of stuff like that, and Doctor Who. So.
And tonight, everybody has to watch the backside of Mark to see
that right there. That's a haunted doll on loan that I was supposed to rehouse over the holidays, and the place was being renovated, so now she's still here for a few more months. So when I'm doing my podcast, people comment that she's moved around a little bit. So
if she slides off the chair, everybody's running, right? If she slides off the chair, everybody's running.
I'm used to it. So.
I think if we watch her closely enough for long enough, her head's going to start turning.
Yeah, just slowly but surely.
Very slowly.
Yeah.
No, we just yell Andy.
Yeah, no, I did the
we'll yell Andy and just
Robert the Doll, which is on Discovery Channel or Max and Discovery Plus now, and some other things. So yeah, that's what I do. That's why I'm here.
She works part-time Uber driver and a little extra money while she's not sitting down there.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for her to pay rent. Come on,
ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
So, do we want to do a quick commercial break, and we can kind of all collect, and you in the audience, you, and you. I want you all to put your number in the chat. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. Put your number in the chat. What did you guys think of Army of Ghosts? And we will, when we come back from this commercial break, we will get into all of our numbers.
Mm-hmm. I just want to add this. Did you want to quickly, before we go to the commercial, talk about your trip to Pensacon?
Oh, sure. We can definitely do that.
And you met somebody in this panel. I'm not exactly sure.
Yes.
He's wearing 3D
also
glasses.
was there. It was great. Pensacon was a ton of fun. I was out there with the ESO network and our station Who, and I got to do some moderating some panels. We got to meet the what is it? Whataburger mascot there with the with
tasty.
the TARDIS. What else we got here? Just him.
I hear he's good freeze dried.
Oh, God.
He is.
It's Mark Muncie's basement.
I didn't get nearly as many photos as I would like because I was really busy with the various panels. But we did get
the bus trip around town. Or you said you walked, right?
We did take one when we first went to get our shirts and our passes. The staff member wanted to take the trolley and had forgotten how long it takes to get in that direction.
It goes to all the things.
Yeah, it goes to all the stops before it gets back to the base center.
For those that don't understand, Pensacon, it's in a hockey rink, so it's not like an average convention center, and the celebrities take up all the extra rooms. So the panels are held in outside buildings. Now, it used to be a hotel right across the street, but it's currently being renovated still.
Forever.
Still, because that's been years. So some of the panels are downtown, and you have to take the trolley to get there, and the trolley takes.
We've gotten it to a point now where it is all down at the Abbey and that little area.
Okay.
So
now that makes sense about New York Comic Con.
Same complex of buildings as opposed to spread out everywhere.
Yeah, it's even Dragon Con, which is Atlanta. It's 5 hotels. They're all right next to each other. So you're walking tons, but it's all right there. This is miles away, and it's Florida. Usually it's hot, but thankfully it's in January, February, so it's not quite as terrible and the mosquitoes have all gone to hell like they should be. But it is definitely a tough con.
Go to hell.
It is a
It's
tough
unwalkable
con to
right
work
now.
or
Yeah.
do anything at if you got to plan your days ahead. So.
Yeah.
A lot of cow mine lotion.
Yeah.
It's bad now. It's definitely an okay walk now. Because it's the right place and West Abbey, and that's the Methodist Youth building behind me there, and those are all right in the basically same place. So it is. It's honestly just yes, it is timescales. Yes, it is.
Whataburger Man.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a ton of fun. I got to work with a lot of the comic artists on their panels and whatnot. Didn't get a chance to get back to chat with all of them after the fact, which I would have liked to, but that's how that happens. I know Saturday, all day Saturday, I was running amok, and then they had me come in on Sunday, and I was the only one on Sunday with any panels, so I moderating there as well, and they're gonna it's gonna be interesting. I'll hopefully be back because it is a month in between Pensacon and MegaCon next year instead of them being back to back.
Yeah, that's nice.
But the 20th to 22nd or whatever it is from in February and March respectively. And the nice thing is because it's going to push into March, I'm hoping, and I'll find this out over the next few weeks, is that the rest of this road trip that I'm on right now will still connect up, and I can do both MegaCon and Pensacon again next year and not have to make a decision between them, because I'd like to come back and see Christian again and all of you.
Yes.
Yeah, MegaCon was we went over the MegaCon there. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and bring this up. And Gadget, I'm going to bring this up because I think it was worthy of the Who Knew news. But let me go ahead and drag these in. And first of all, this happened within moments before this show started, so I was really excited about that. No, actually, no.
I thought it would be this weekend. That's why I was like,
no, it's no, that number is completely wrong. Hang on a second.
Yeah, that's totally wrong.
I don't have the 50. Sorry, it's supposed to be 53,510 right now.
Wow.
So
nice.
we have another 500 that didn't for some reason get in there. And our Facebook page whopped over 77,000. Nice. So thank you, everybody who joined us there. I want to personally give this out because I want to give kudos when people do something right. There was a page called the Matt Smith fan page, and they had posted. I know the pictures usually get shared and stuff like that. All I ask is please, give us kudos, give us credit, just link to us so people know, hey, this is where the page came from, or the picture, I should say, came from, and just give us a little bit of love. And they did. They posted the picture again, and this time they gave us a little tag. So everybody check out the Matt Smith fan page. Want to give them kudos, like I said, when we do things right. And I love the smell of
sewage
in the morning.
Would bring it up because going to conventions now, we're going to have to bring tents, umbrellas, and tarps.
I thought the plumbing went under. Jeez, I was like,
seek medical attention.
It wasn't sewage, but it was from the kitchen, which had the grease trap. So
and it had like mop water. They said they got the mop water because everybody I've talked to on this has now freaked out, and we're trying to find out who the vendors are because we're all wanting to go to conventions and wanting to help them out a little bit by buying more of their product or donating some stuff like supplies and things. Because this was not right.
No, and they lost a ton of product. We're on a vendor chat group, and I heard a couple of them lost everything basically.
Well, it hit one booth completely. They lost their whole inventory was wiped out. So that's why I was trying to tell everybody if we can donate it
too. Yeah. So,
but it gives you an idea now when you go to conventions, tarps, tents, or something, and everything.
And
because
also, Roger pointed out our sister Spill the Geek Tea. Congratulations, Tom. He hit 1,000 subs.
Yeah.
So he is not far away. So yeah. Oh, the little Tom is growing up so fast. So check him out there. And I think Is that it? Yeah.
Timescales mentioned that he thinks that we'll be hitting 100,000 on Facebook soon, and hopefully we will. I will honestly just be shocked if we do not hit 100,000 on our YouTube channel by the end of whichever comes second. I guess it would be the Land and Sea.
When does Land and Sea come out?
I don't think we've been given a date, but I think it's
the rumor is fall.
I was going to say fall, because they're looking for less than 6 months in between everything. Was the hope. So if we've got 8 episodes starting in April, that would give us May, June, and 3-4 months later would put us to September, October, depending on how thematic it ends up being. And then that's 8 episodes. So now we're into October, November, and then we got our Christmas episode. So
that'd be a nice Christmas present.
Yeah, if we do not, we'll hit it before December. I have zero doubt that we will hit.
I say we get the 100,000, and Spill the Geek Tea gets 5K by the time December.
Yeah.
Give Eerie Travel some love too, gang, please.
Oh no, you're getting millions. You're getting more than anything.
Millions, YouTube, so
millions, trillions, and everything.
We have
just host a show
on the podcast. We need the YouTubes now. So
gosh, I guess I should go and subscribe to Eerie Travels real quick.
Please do.
I know.
Roger, really cool. I do have a blue sky. It's the Rattle same as everything else. I haven't quite moved over there completely off of the dumpster fire that is Twitter, but eventually I will. But for now, let's do that commercial break.
Yeah.
And when we come back, we'll start right off with Mark Muncy so that he has all of the time to fly away if he needs to.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
We are a touring acoustic duo crashing kitchens around the country. We go from house to house every Friday night, and we create music, we create food, a good time, we stream it live, and we do it for free. So now we're just really kind of like trying to develop it and build a community group that people believe in, then they'll help us. So we played from our rehearsal room, we played from the bathroom, thankfully that didn't catch on.
I probably played guitar in my room, not for anyone, in front of anyone, nobody heard, for probably about 10 years.
And then one Friday night, we played from the kitchen. It's the main place people want to be. It's where the food is, it's where the drink is, it's where the best lighting is. You can go to any party and I guarantee you, the kitchen is going to be popping.
Our ultimate goal, I think, would be to crash kitchens every Friday all around the world.
I'm author Mark Muncy.
And I'm author Erica Lance.
And this is Eerie Travels.
Greetings, travelers. Join us as we travel through folklore, myths, monsters, legends, and dark history.
Now, we'll be your guide to the spooky side of reality as we discuss cryptids, paranormal, and all things preternatural.
Sometimes we find the truth is way scarier than fiction.
We're on twice a week on your favorite podcast platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube.
We have amazing guests from all of the areas of the strange and unusual, including witnesses, investigators, and more.
Yeah, with Erica's curiosity and ridiculous array of pop culture and true crime knowledge.
And Mark's decades of experience diving into folklore and the legends with the truth that's behind them.
Yeah, so join us, travelers, as we take you to the edge of reality, and we'll see you on the other side.
Are you a movie nerd? Do you collect VHS, DVDs, CDs? records, and so much more. Are you looking for clothing from 1940s to 2000s? Do you need cosplay or themed outfits? Come to Ducky's Vintage. We have it all for all budgets, located at the Oviedo Mall right off of the 417. Ducky's Vintage for those born in the wrong decade.
Hey, I'm Sophia Miles, and this is the legend of the Traveling TARDIS.
Did that video work for everyone else? Because my thing said my browser refused to play that video.
Worked for me.
After whatever was after Ducky's.
That was Sophia's.
That was Sophia. Sophia's.
Didn't stop for me. That's okay.
You get no Sophia. You're not gonna get
Sophia for you.
Next time I'm in Orlando, don't let me not go to Ducky's, because I had meant to go this last trip and it just didn't happen.
It's amazing. They moved from one side of the mall to the other. Literally, they literally moved from me to Candyman. I was like, I think it was just it was cheaper and they had more building space in there.
Yeah.
But I'm like, they're always putting out check out Lunatics conventions, because they are once a month they're putting out a convention for something inside the Oviedo Mall.
Yeah.
So, and most of it's free admission.
They teamed up with Gods and Monsters not too long ago and did an event, which was pretty cool. So
and Tom was there. So
nice.
Yeah. So I think what we're going to do is we will start with Mr. Mark Muncy, getting into our ratings, because that seems to be the appropriate amount of things to do. You gave it an 8, Mark. What do you want?
It's definitely one of the highest, rated episodes for me of that season. I think it only gets a little higher in the follow-up, because this was part 1 of 2, and and Russell Davies, if there's nothing else he is good at, it's writing part 1s of 2-parters. He is amazing at that. He is really good at going, how are they going to get out of this? How are they going to do that? And this episode, spoilers, we've already said that. Thank you, Sophie Aldred, at the beginning. You can't talk about this episode without talking about a few spoilers, because basically, as the ghosts appear, this was, when I first watched this, I was like, oh, we're getting another ghost episode. We hadn't had one of those since season 1 with the Gelf or whatever. And they even make a callback to them in this, which was I was happy that they were referring to previous episodes and all that. There's a lot of setup in this. We're finally getting the payoff for Torchwood, which had been played through this whole season. It was the bad wolf of this season. It had been brought up over and over again. So we finally see the real Torchwood Institute. Although it is not what we know Torchwood to be now, but but it's pretty cool. I was a little wondering, where's Unit in all this? Are we still never going to get a proper Unit?
They got cutted by Chris Chibnall.
I bet Candyman was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we'd only had him, I think, in that one episode with the Slovene from the first season still, where they were just like a throwaway bit. We hadn't met any of the others, like Osgood and Kate and all that. We had this, and it was okay. It was kind of cool. They were British Empire and all that, but the whole Ghost Watch was, again, I loved it because they were tying into that old 90s crazy British TV movie of the week that no one knows any other British TV movies of the week, but we still talk about that one. Here it is 30 years on, because it was so amazing and impactful. And then it was cool. This was a great episode. We had some throwbacks. Mickey suddenly shows back up. He'd been missing for a little while. Thought trapped in an alternate universe. We had the whole opening bit with Rose talking about this is how she dies. We knew going into this as fans that this was the last episode she was supposed to be in. This was she was leaving the show. We didn't know what was going to go on, and they're going to kill her off. What? But I will, and I remember when this came out, they were sending the screener copies out early to all the reviewers and everything, and they didn't show that last few seconds right? The big reveal for part 2. And when that came out, that's what pushes this up. I can see why some people give it a 9 or an 8.5 or something like that, because that last few minutes makes the episode. It elevates it to that next level. But I think when you're just watching this episode, we're just reviewing that episode, if it wasn't for that, it's a solid episode. It's really well done. A lot of good callbacks. Really amazing, fun to watch. And for an old Whovian fan, this was the first time we kind of got a taste of classic Who in the new show. I mean, it really did show off, and bringing the Cybermen back. We just wanted some. Thanks for this. Thanks for the subscribe timescales. I think some of us really wanted Unit here and some other things. And I think if the next episode had brought them in, that would have just been, perfect 10. But that's why we got to knock it down a couple notches. We didn't get Rig, and we didn't get a couple other little throws. So there we go. That's why I give it an 8.
Awesome.
That was a good review.
It is.
It's like I practiced.
Most of the points I have to redo mine.
So moving right along, let's keep the pace going. How about we go from Mark to Mark?
Also, Mark. This is too many marks. I guess we hit the mark on this one.
We did.
I knocked it down. Okay, so when I first watched it, I thought it was a really, really amazing episode. So I would have given it a 9. But I think it has aged with the special effects over the years. I think if they retouched up and did it 4K, it was probably hit a 9. So I'm just taking their points off of just more of the visual aspects rather than the actual storyline. I love the storyline. I think it's very, very cute. We see Jackie Tyler back in the TARDIS, which was quite cool. The other bit which I thought was a bit bad is we actually see the Doctor kill Martha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you sure it was Martha?
Well, that's a problem. But we know.
No, that's her cousin. That was what I heard.
Her
like Patty Do. She's like Patty Do.
Cousin.
Yeah.
But we know Doctor Who. Doctor Who has always brought in like the characters who played one role and brought them back another.
She's Adeola.
Yeah, but the other lady made it worse with her death.
Yeah.
That's not Martha. That's Peter Capaldi.
I watched it back to back, so I'm going to have to try to separate the two stories because I love the second part of the story. I think it's one of the best Doctor Who things. So I ain't going to spoil it because we're probably doing that next week. But on this one, the build-up, the world of the Cybermen and the Void, and everything like that. Having Torchwood as military, not unit, yeah, I can see why Mark's a little bit thing about it. It was just like, it should be Torchwood, but I can see it would be like if you compromise like CIA with FBI, the two separate branches, even though the work's similar, but they carry on two different things. So I'm putting it down to back to the two aspects, like MI6, MI5. You know what I mean? So I will say Torchwood is one side, but I do think they know about each other, but they just don't talk about each other. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how I reason with it, even though I'm a complete unit bod and think the Torchwood uniforms were quite ridiculous. Because
don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah, we don't talk about Bruno.
I do have one other quick scientific thing I wanted to bring up. I forgot in my review.
Yeah.
Just real quick before I have to bail, gang. There was one bit about the psychic energy powering the ghosts coming through from this, the humans thinking that they're so happy. It's the grandpa. He's smelling the cigarettes. Jackie's doing all that. That reminded me of it. Everything. There's an old theory called the Tulpa theory, which is very much a people can manifest ghosts by concentrating on them enough. That's why it's always everybody sees Elvis, everybody sees Al Capone, everybody sees whoever died there. The most famous person died there is the ghost that's there, right? And we always think of, well, it's probably just some sort of energetic form, and then people are psychically making it what they want it to be. And that was just one of the cool little bits they threw into this episode. And I thought, hey, somebody's done their research. So that was one reason why I also gave it pretty high marks. So,
which was kind of foreshadowing up into Darkwater, because again, they have ghosts, like, you know, they're using the human bodies Missy turns the human bodies into, you know, Cybermen, and she's using the dead. So technically, here's the dead, and now we're using the dead again, and you know, a couple decade later. So it's interesting. I'm just curious if they said they would smell like cigarettes. I'm trying to figure out the Cyberman who was smoking, but then there's that picture of the Cyberman smoking. So I guess it's one of the Mondosian Cybermen who's taking a break off the camera. So
yeah, that was my other knock, was it wasn't Mondosian Cyberman. So it should have been, that would have given it another notch up.
Yeah.
I love these. There's loads of Easter eggs in this. There's one which I'm not sure if it's in this episode or next episode, but they reference something in the scene, which I'm not going to spoil it, just in case it's in next episode, where it relates to the Fourth Doctor and also to the last end of season last year. So yeah, I love the Easter eggs, and Easter's coming up.
We do see an Egyptian sarcophagus in this one.
Yes,
and
I tried to compare it if it looked similar or the same as it did back in the 70s.
Yep.
So on that whole, it's a brilliant story. I love have seen Pete back and referring back to that Age of Steel and Pete's World. It wasn't called Pete's World until this episode, to this storyline, was it?
Right.
I believe, yeah.
That'd be a great name for his world.
Yeah, it would be.
World. Yeah.
Pete's World. So that's why
I think they filmed this, at least their parts, at the same time they were filming the two-parter, the Age of Steel two-parter. So that's why they were able to make sure they had everybody to do this, which was brilliant. That's
But only one thing, I think, back when it first aired, the what's her name, Tracy Hartman, or it was Tracy Hartman? Not sure it's Tracy Hartman.
Tracy Oberman. Tracy
Oberman. Well, she was massively in EastEnders.
Oh yeah.
Back in those days, so it was like, okay, she's just come out of EastEnders, and now she's in Doctor Who, and it was a little bit hard to adjust from her character. We go from like EastEnders to that, but now watching it for so many years later, you forget about she was in EastEnders.
And there's the EastEnders bit in this one too, where it's old evil Dan, and who actually does come back from the dead a little while later in the show, and then they killed him off again. So poor Dan, he's always.
What is also good is that when they did the thing, they tried to check the postcode. That was all down in SE15 70G. That's Southeast London.
Oh,
so
nice.
we probably know that where Rose Tyler technically lived was in Southeast London, rather than where it was actually shot. So that was quite cool.
One last thing I do recall was I remember there was like a flash game for this episode on the Doctor Who website or somewhere that was a Ghostwatch themed thing where you were following a reporter or something. It's a weird brain childhood memory type thing. And, I remember my kids freaking out because the big shock ending was the ghosts were Cybermen, and that was before the episode aired. And I was like, oh, that kind of spoils it a little bit, knowing about it now.
So that's why I gave it an 8, because I think it needs to be touched up for 4K. On the whole, I would have given it a 9 out of 10, and probably next one. I'm not going to say why I'm going to give the next one, because that'll be next week's show. So,
yep, that seems reasonable. And splat right in the middle, Christian.
With 0.1.
Flat. 8.1 just to be annoying.
8.1, that's right. I took a Tardis and went, no. So,
I was really debating whether I should just round it down to 8, make you go first, but Mark had to go.
I don't think so, Scooter. So anyway, so for this episode, I wanted to give it a 10. I think I don't know the individual stuff that kind of threw me off. I think one of them was I agree. Where was Unit on this one? And when people ask, like in the new series with Ncuti Gatwa with the 15th Doctor, and the Earth's in trouble with Sutek, and there's like, well, what's the 14th Doctor doing? It's like, is he really, really, really retired? So, I'm just, the Unit thing. I think the development of Torchwood later on. I think, I love the fact that that Jackie Tyler became Rose Tyler. It's like. What was it that if we end up on Mars, I'm gonna kill you or something like that?
Foreshadowing, yep.
Yeah, she got her first ride in the TARDIS.
It did officially make her a companion, though.
Yeah, and it's like, but it was almost like a kidnapping. It was like she just got in there and just whoops.
Well, he had to get even for the kiss.
And then he throws the whole that she aged 50 years because of some sucker.
Yeah. 40.
Yeah.
So we got a ton of Easter eggs, and I just loved Tracy-Ann Oberman's tiff with the 10th Doctor, especially the scene where I think it's called Ghost Time.
Ghost
Shift. Ghost Shift. They were about to go Ghost Shift, and the Doctor's yelling at her and said, "Don't you dare!" Da da da. And then at one moment, the Doctor goes, "You know what? Go ahead." And he used a maneuver. It's like, go ahead, do it. And she's like, "What?" It's just like, "You telling me to go ahead and do this?" And he goes, "I don't care. Go ahead."
Yeah.
And I think
whatever.
It's a poker game with him because he can play. Well, I'm losing, but I'm gonna let you know that I have some bad hand, and I'm just going to fold. And she goes, "Wait a minute, you're folding? You have a better hand than me." I said, "I'm not going to play." So she ends up at the last second stopping because he played his hand perfectly to her. And those little tidbits and scenes and stuff, that was just fun. I'm still a little bit odd that when Torchwood first meets him, they're all applauding to him. And then next thing you know, they're like, "Oh, you're a prisoner now." So
yeah.
I think that was just a little bit weird. It really didn't throw off anything. I think one of the things I'm just mad about, I don't know why I'm holding it against this episode. It's not really fair, but I love the idea of the void ship.
Yeah.
And things like this throughout Doctor Who are never, ever, ever used again.
Right.
And I mean, you have so much. This is why I was always chastising Chibnall. I said, Chibnall, even RTD and Moffat knew they had some classic stuff. They have a treasure trove of history, stories, devices, spaceships, and they just become a one-off in an episode. And I would like to have seen more of the Void Ship. I mean, out there. It's like, well, what's it? When another time that we could see the Void Ship. This was a really cool concept, that a ship that could go in between the reality and dimensions of time. And there was, and it essentially brought in the Daleks.
Spoiler.
Yeah, so we're all doomed now. We got Daleks coming into the room. And we did have little Easter eggs like, "Oh, I'm afraid no ghost."
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Capaldi didn't do it first. It was Tennant.
It was Tennant, yes, it was. But I think as far as acting is concerned, everybody was on all cylinders. It was directed just wonderfully by Graeme Harper, and just written by Russell T Davies. And you could tell in this particular time, David was having a blast with the episode. I mean, he was firing on all cylinders. His relation with Tracy, his relation with Jackie when she was impersonating Rose, and the scene where Rose goes, Doctor, they have guns out there. And he goes, well, I'm on the higher ground and they can shoot me if they want. He just walked out there and he just surrenders to them and just like, okay, I get it. But he knows he's in trouble. But it was little things like that I put it for a high score. Like I said, I think things like the void ship and stuff that they had, where was Unit? There were a few hokey things in there. I think nothing against Freema Agyeman, and she was so lovely to meet over at MegaCon this year. As far as just dropping her into the episode, I was like, well, why did you have to do that? I mean, you're foreshadowing the actress who's going to be playing the next companion. I'm just like, really weird.
I don't think she'd been cast yet as
No.
Martha. And I think this is actually what
She
sealed
was?
her. Yeah.
I did not know
I think
that.
that's like with Karen also. Karen was in one of the episodes and then all of a sudden gets cat. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is Russell Davies.
Oh, I thought she was cast and they just happened to have her.
This is what sealed it though. He's like,
My
I really
bad.
like how she did this.
He said if he'd known he was going to cast her, he wouldn't have killed her off.
Okay. And like I said, the explanation of the void ship, and it's just like the way that they're watching him explain this and the way that he's reading off, the importance of this and everything. It keeps you glued and riveted to what's going on. So I was just having a good time. I think there were a few quirks in it. I think the ghosts were a little bit strange. I just don't know why. I'm sorry, Mark. I just had my issues with the ghost thing. And I think that's why I knocked it down 2 points. I just didn't understand.
I wanted them spookier. That was my problem. Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, they were coming through, but I was just like, what other device could we have had besides ghosts? That was just a weird concept. And I think it gave me a little bit of a bad taste. But I
get out my pub. Get out my pub. Talking about EastEnders.
There you go.
I was watching this here at the hostel with someone who had no clue about Doctor Who, zero, less than none. And he was saying how spooky those ghosts actually were.
Oh, okay.
So for you, Mark, who lives your life with the ghosts and a spooky doll that I swear is dancing behind you now, if you look. No. What?
I'm waiting for her to walk off the chair. The chair.
For some of us who already know what's going on and know that's not spooky, it's not. But for some people, it was spooky.
No,
time.
There were, when they were doing the Ghost Watch bit in the newscast, where he's doing today's Ghost Watch, and then there's little texting along the bottom. There was actually a number you could text, I guess, which was the throwback to the original Ghost Watch TV show. But the texts were things like, I think the ghosts are friendly. And then one of the texts was a throwaway bit, was I think you should play Shane something or other's new single. And I realized that was a throwaway for Fear Her. They were just throwing back to that singer from that. And I'm like, man, they're throwing in little Easter eggs in the crawl. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch this and just watch that crawl, because I think they threw a couple other things in there. So
I like the Spectre shine. That was I like that.
Oh yeah.
Shine your ghost.
Shine your ghost away. Yeah, that's I think I need that. So.
Roger, yes, this is the first episode, and everybody was looking forward to this build up.
How long have we all waited for that? I mean, next episode really, but we had that little tease that last minute. So
yes, you are right.
So next up, we have Gadget at 9.
Well, most of you guys took most of my ideas and everything, the Ghostbuster thing and stuff. What really got me was that when I first was watching. No, no, but I was thinking when I was first watching it, like she's coming home and everything, because when I first saw it originally, cute episode, everything, it had a 10 out of 10, because when you got to the end of it, that's when I was like, oh boy, we're in trouble. And then it was like, okay, now rewatching it, there's so many hidden Easter eggs in there, depending on now that we've seen all these seasons and everything, every Doctor, because you got to throw back to the Waters on Mars. You got to throw back to Bad Wolf. You have a like everything was a throwback to something coming up and everything, especially like watching like certain things what Rose was saying and everything, how she died and all, and always remembering like little tidbits and everything and stuff. But what got me mostly was when he had to give the payback for the kiss that Jackie gave him in the beginning and stuff, like he's going and everything and stuff like that and everything. And Rose thinking her mom went insane and everything. And like, he's looking around like they're just letting these things walk around. Like, okay, time to start thinking and stuff and everything. Like, okay, Dr. Brain going, let's see, what are we going to do about this? And I didn't see his regular specs for in there and stuff. I saw mostly these specs, because the way he was theorizing about how it could be dimensional and everything, especially when he set up the 3 cones and everything to trap one of them and stuff. But what got me, he kept saying, if I don't remember how to say it correctly, is a shoe's not a boot or a boot is not a boot and everything. And that's when I started thinking, why does he keep saying boot and everything and stuff? So I was always confused about that until I started putting it together and be like, oh, wait a minute. He knew, but he didn't know. And everything, because he's looking at the ground, he's looking at how they're walking and everything, because they were very stiff. Like a spirit would probably be more like floating or something, or like when you see most TV shows and everything. This one was just stiff. It was like I'm walking through things, and then it walked right through him and everything. So you had to get that little thing about the ghost walking through people and everything. But what got me was the that he was the prisoner, because of what happened in 18 something, because of the queen and everything calling him a traitor to the crown and everything, that he's
banish you.
Yeah, that they took the TARDIS as their property because they take alien tech. That's why I'm thinking the Void ship might have gotten taken apart. That's why we don't see it anymore, because they keep taking apart things, because like she said, the Christmas episode shooting down the plane was that other, stuff like that and everything, like the other ship that they used that to neutralize the aliens and stuff. And then they just kept going on and on about things, and how he was playing devil's advocate and everything, and explaining about what happens when you open up too many fissures in a world and everything and stuff. And when the glass just shattered, I was like, okay, he means business. He's doing his low-key, underhanded and everything. And when Rose finally gets out of the TARDIS and everything, she thinks she's going to use her psychic paper, but I love the little part where the guy says, oh, we're trained in psychic stuff. This doesn't work. It's just a blank piece of paper. And she threw it. And I was like, oh boy, how's she going to get out of this one? And then when I first saw it, when I saw Mickey, I was like, wait, what? And I'm like, and then I was like, wait, how? And everything. And then I was like, this is, because I was like, this is not, wait. I just was like, and then while they were upstairs arguing back and forth about everything, him playing like his poker hand and everything and stuff, you see the 2 office romance go off, and that's how we end up with 3 cyber humans and everything and stuff. And it just was like back and forth. Like it was just like one of those where you knew it was coming, but you weren't sure. But when you did see the Cybermen in that episode, it was like, that's when it clicked about the boot to me. It was like, okay, something's not right here. And then I was thinking maybe it's just regular Cybermen, like the regular ones that we're seeing and everything and stuff. Not that they were coming from the alternate dimension until you saw, you know what I mean, and stuff like that later on and stuff. Spoilers. But otherwise, there was a lot of like funny Easter eggs, like you said, with the Mars thing, because Waters on Mars is coming up. And you had like her on he forgot that Jackie was on the TARDIS and everything, because he's flirting with Rose again. And it was just back in, like I said, you guys mentioned the other cool stuff and everything, but mostly it was interesting. It's just answering the Void ship. Yeah, they probably took it apart. But I'm also thinking that was also BBC headquarters storage unit for all the Doctor Who stuff, because everything I kept looking in there was everything Doctor Who and stuff.
Yeah, I can see that. That would be funny if that's actually where they did that.
I love their necklace easy buttons from Office Depot. Yep. They do need to, that's another thing that he's updating is they need to update the audio on that, because you can hear the little plastic.
Yeah,
needed to sound a little sturdier than cheap plastic toy buff.
That was easy.
What is hard about doing a review about this episode? It's trying to be so hard just reviewing
Keep a
this
straight face.
episode, this episode part 1 without doing the whole story.
Yeah,
because it is, even though it's a 2-parter, it just feels like one big story, and it's such a good story.
Yeah.
So now, Nick, you also gave this a 9.
I did.
Yeah. So why would you do that, Nick?
Because
why could it be 9.1?
Are you sitting comfortably? I have things to say. You all have made really good points, and I wanted to give this story a 10, but because it's a lead up to a finale, there isn't that satisfying conclusion and emotional arc, the kinds of things that make a perfect Doctor Who story. So this gets a 9. Another reason, the effects look dated. They look dated when the show came out. It's the BBC, but they look more dated now. And even a couple of the sound effects are a bit goofy, So nitpicking wise, it loses 1 point. But otherwise, it's a really good episode. And I loved it a lot. Great director, Graeme Harper, involved with Classic Who. So we've got that kind of link and that respect paid to the original show.
You know what's scary, Nick? What you said about the special effects. I can only imagine what it'll be 50 years from now on a BBC budget. On how the special effects will look. Everything's green screen.
They're crystal plunger.
Exactly.
Yes. Everything will be CGI. Also nods to the future. So, even when the Doctor runs out of Jackie's flat at the beginning, they start playing the Torchwood music cue before the next scene even starts. The do 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 do. So there's that build up. I think the original, an original title for this episode was Torchwood Rising. So it's all about mysteries. One mystery is what is Torchwood, which they've been working and building towards for the whole season. Another is, who are these ghosts? So it's I'm trying to not use the word classic again, but it's that kind of cult British TV action show mystery that they set up. The Doctor uses science to figure out, who are these ghosts? Where are they coming from? How can I trace them to their source? So there's that kind of mystery to begin the story that we love, that cult fans love for sure. We've got Raj investigating the sphere, this weird sphere, another mystery. So it's mystery on mystery on mystery. And the sphere reminds me of the ball from Shada. Shada, this giant ball that sucks.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking that's a void ship.
And the Doctor says, Allons-y. Let's go check out, solve these mysteries, right? It's the first time he says Allons-y, not the last. So it's great to see him, coming up with that. If he meets someone called Alonso, he can say Allons-y to him. Yeah. There's also a reference to the Eternals. That was fun. So the Eternals from Enlightenment. They call the void the Howling. So just those little mentions are nice and subtle. It's not heavy. It's not banged on your head. It's just, Russell T having fun with the mythos of Doctor Who. The anagram itself, Torchwood, an anagram for Doctor Who. And I was thinking, thank goodness that they chose Torchwood. It could have been What Hawk Roared. Yeah, that's an anagram of Doctor Who. But we do not get What Hawk Roared. We get Torchwood instead. Led by Tracy-Ann Oberman, who is fantastic. If you haven't listened to the Big Finish audios that she's done, so they're set before this story in Torchwood 1. Yanto Jones pops up in those. She is so good in them. So have a listen if you haven't already. So lots to love. Mysteries, callbacks, call forwards. I call this a down-home backyard epic. An epic on that BBC budget. It's set in very familiar places. A playground, a family home, a council estate, Canary Wharf in London. So that's doing that great Doctor Who thing of putting crazy sci-fi ideas in familiar settings. Also, the sets are very simple. We've got the plastic sheeting in the construction area, a white wall that's going to be the void. the kind of thing you would see in real life and think there could be another universe behind that, that stucco or that white wall.
We call it IKEA.
You get lost in that place.
No, you gotta go 600 feet in the air just to get to it, right?
And the Cybermen break through the plastic, another callback to Earthshock specifically, where they break out of their plastic covers. But also that was a callback to other Doctor Who stories as well. So there's this kind of sense that they're adding another link to a great chain of adventures. I got goosebumps twice in this story. The first time was when Mickey turned up, because he's hiding in plain sight. He's right there in the room, and then he turns around, and we're like, it's Mickey Smith. So that was really clever. And then, of course, when the Daleks pop up. Now, they had spoiled it in the coming next episode in the story before. You don't see the Daleks, but you hear their energy blast. So true fans would know the Daleks were going to turn up. But it's still a great reveal, the way they kind of rise up out of the fear. I thought that was brilliant. So yeah, epic, definitely epic all the way. Even though it's set in dreary London, we got epic stuff going on, and Murray Gold's music really helps to make it epic.
That was an epic score. Epic score in this.
The other thing I wanted to mention is the Magnalocks. So Torchwood has Magnalocks, these great big things where you can stick to walls and floors.
Yeah, you remember what Jackie said, right?
It's be the same principle as the power glove that 15 has.
Yeah.
So it's kind of switching mass so that you can hold on to things very tightly. I'd never realized that before. So that's clever. That's Russell creating something and then coming back to it in a different way. I think we're going to see a lot more of that. Russell, kind of not reusing ideas, but just kind of using them as jumping off points for new story elements.
Well, also, when it comes to the tech of Doctor Who, it like the Void ship, like nanogenes, you'd think they would be everywhere right now, and we never see them. There's so much cool tech that could be brought back and used in another story. It just never shows up. We have new tech or something.
Well, parallel universes is a big one. We've seen a lot of multiverse stuff from Marvel and DC and A24, you name it. But Doctor Who still has a lot to explore with that. One day I'd like to hear the Doctor say, there's a universe where I'm a human inventor and Susan is a wee girl and I built my TARDIS. That would be fun. But we'll see.
Here's a strange philosophy, because I remember it, and I always thought, because it was like we only have the Doctor. Inferno, because when you see the mirror unit, there is no Doctor anywhere.
Right.
So I always assumed that we have Dr. Prime and there's no other Doctor in the other dimensions, that this Doctor belongs to us.
I would like that. Yeah, there is a fan theory that he's running that kind of fascist world of Inferno.
And then you also got E-Space as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, I guess that only leaves me now, huh?
Well, in the chats.
And the chat.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do.
All about
Yeah, I've been looking at that. People are giving it good ratings.
I'm going to have to go here pretty soon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give my rating. And I'm actually going to leave the show in Christian's hands to finish things off.
Oh, no.
Are you sure you want to do that?
You sure you want to do that? Because,
no, I'm not at all sure I want to do that.
Look, you put him in the driver's seat.
Oh.
Yeah, he's already done the switch. So I'm giving it an 8.5 for more or less all of the reasons that everyone else has given already. I thought it was a great episode. I loved the reveal. Watching it with someone who had not seen it before and does not know Doctor Who was very, very interesting. He didn't stick around for the whole episode, so he didn't get the final reveal. He did get the first look at the Cybermen, and he's like, what the hell was that? in more of a confused way, more than a, not a terrifying way. But yeah, it was just like, hey,
Sam Hill.
It was kind of neat to see. And it's like, I had forgotten all of this. Like I'd forgotten this was this episode. But even at that point, I'm like looking at the ghost going, oh, they move like Cyberman. I know where this is going. Especially when you saw the ear things on the Torchwood Tower. Like, no, I know exactly where this is going. But I had forgotten about the Daleks again until just the very, very end. And I'm like, oh, is this where the Daleks come in? And sure enough, it is. So I am looking forward to watching the second half. But yeah, I have not had a chance to watch that second half yet, just the first half. And yeah, so I'm going to have to bail out here now.
Just before you bail out, Dave,
yeah,
you've also been to Canary Wharf.
I have, yes. Mark took me around, and that was one of the places that I got to travel. And so there are pictures of Little Boy Blue.
Thank you,
there
Roger.
as well.
That's right.
I got to go in 2016, but it was roped off because of a festival thing and stuff.
Mm.
Say hi to Marie Laveau for us.
I shall. In the meantime, you can find me. There you go. The Rat Hole DOTCA on the YouTubes. And so I appreciate the mention their time scales. And yes, definitely. I've had some gumbo. I've had some jambalaya. I have not had beignets yet.
Lots of sugar on them.
But, yeah.
And don't forget to suck the head.
Place nearby that I'm waiting for those. Hello. But yes, I'm going to take off and leave this in everyone else's fine hands. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us. And I will catch you guys next week.
Au revoir.
Have fun.
And I think I'm going to have to go as well, gang. Apologies, but I stayed as long as I could. So, but thank you all for having me on. As always,
Get her a blanket.
You're amazing, Mark.
Yeah,
and get the doll a blanket.
A blanket. It is chilly out here in the Smokies, so we're expecting maybe some snow tomorrow. I don't know. Not as much as Kentucky, all that a little further north is, but. Take care, y'all. As always, please join us, Eerie Travels. We're on every podcast platform and YouTube. Appreciate it if you like ghosts and monsters and legends and stuff. We also talk nerdy stuff and horror movies and things like that. So please join us and keep traveling with the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. And I will see you on the other side. Bye, gang.
Bye.
Bye, Mark.
It was a pleasure.
Oh, bye, Mark.
Okay, so what's the point? I mean, everybody's leaving.
No, you got the best. You got it. Where's Nick?
I accidentally kicked him off. I kicked him off because everybody's leaving. I'll just take him off one time out there.
We got some good stuff in the chats.
I do.
Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead. Let me go ahead and pull them up.
Yeah, because they were giving 9.5s and everything and stuff like that.
Time scale says Army of Ghosts is 7.6 out of 10 on the time scales with 232 votes and reviews. If Army of Ghosts is the one, I think I have to give it a 9 out of 10 for horror. I
didn't find it horror.
It was too goofy for the horror.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was like too many Easter eggs, too many. Following.
I think the way if the treatment of were like Dark Water, where they were terrifying, they were taking over. That would be a different story. And then you bring in the Daleks, and they're like, "This spoiler alert. This is pest control." I love that line. I swear. That's
why I love his face. I'm like, he's like, he let them do the work. He let them do the work.
Yeah, I'm not giving the episode my rating yet, but that line by itself is a 10.
see, I think the other line was better. You're better at one thing.
Yeah. I just love the throwdown, and just like the Daleks really have a place.
Well, I was laughing when David came up out of the bottom of the TARDIS that's when they were singing the Ghostbusters theme and everything and stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. It was a good episode. It just that it had too many Easter eggs in the beginning, but the second part, when we review it next week, has all the cool stuff, and all the craziness.
I just said, and nothing against it. If you found it horror in it, I didn't, because it was just way too goofy. It was thrilling. Especially when it builds up to where we're eventually going to go. So I would consider it more of a thrill than horror.
It doesn't have, the ghost situation doesn't have a consequence to it.
It doesn't have stakes.
If your grandfather, you thought he'd come back and then found out it wasn't him and he's gone, feel how heart-wrenching that would be. I would be devastated. Jackie's cracking jokes. I'd be, broken down. Like, I had this chance and I thought this was my grandfather and I love him so much, but he's gone.
Yeah. But we have to say that to next week because it is the relationship between Pete and Jackie.
Yeah.
Which we're not going to go on it.
There's so many other things going on.
Right, because everything leads into part 2. And that's why it's hard to review this one fully because I left out a few other things because they connect to the other one. And it's like seeing people give it 9.5, this and everything. 10 is the next one. 10 is basically that, and everything.
So do you guys know the history of Torchwood? Why Torchwood is used?
Tell us.
Please, because the only thing I could think of is what that episode with Rose and him when she created it. That's the only thing I can think of.
So basically, when they was reviewing Doctor Who with the tapes, so passing the tapes to other people to review it, rather than calling Doctor Who, they used to put Torchwood on the tape so people didn't know it was Doctor Who.
Yeah, that was the anagram. Yeah,
that was an anagram. It was a code name. So Torchwood is a code name for Doctor Who when they was sharing it around like their crew and cast.
That makes sense because I do that. They do that a lot with movies and like when I was on set with things, we had a different name for different movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's Torchwood was its Doctor Who code name for Doctor Who.
I think on my headshot I still have some of the original names.
Harvest or something like that.
Yeah,
like I think Hitch was called Nailed Right In or something because I have the original names on my headshots and everything and stuff. And like other things, like there was even a Freddie Prinze one I did that had a different name too and everything. A lot of them changed their names.
And Torchwood's the best unkept secret in the UK.
It was like plain sight. That's why this episode's funny. Everything's in plain sight.
Everything. Yeah, well, I get that, but when we later go into like Torchwood the series, it's just like, oh, well, everybody knows Torchwood. I thought this was supposed. I thought it was like Men in Black. Nobody knows about these people, but they go around the corner. Oh yeah, Torchwood.
Yeah, they kept jacking everybody in the basement while everybody else was on the 600th floor trying to get through that void.
Well, technically, if you again spoilers for next week, Rose becomes a member of Torchwood. Because she was, she actually said she's got a new job
in a shop.
In a shop. Well,
in a shop.
Not really a shop.
If I'm not mistaken, Billie Piper was supposed to be in a spinoff called Rose Tyler, Defender of the Earth, or something like that. Or
the same way like they did with Sarah Jane. It was supposed to be like
Yeah, they were supposed to spin her off, but just nothing came out of it. I'm
sure it was like too similar to the other spin-off shows, so
she's just going to go in and kick some
I
ass.
still want Sarah Jane K9 to go to Sophie Aldred to Ace charity. That'd be awesome if they could.
Well, no, wouldn't it be the kids taking over the show? That would be,
I think K9 and Mrs. Smith will go to a childhood and charity, but the children will work for Dorothy, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
I still want somehow Sadie Miller to come into the WHOniverse aside from Big Finish.
Yeah.
Like it's the daughter that nobody knew about or something like that.
That would be cool if she is the doctor and Sarah's daughter. That would have been cool. Yeah. That would have been like one of those episodes, like, oh, I was kept hidden for my safety because of the master and all the other stuff and all those things that were going on. Or could she be from the alternate universe?
Mommy didn't like me enough. So Nico back gave it an 8. I love the sheer horror and how Torchwood was nonchalant as it could potentially happen. Yeah, that is true. Timescales is just filling it up. Yes, this is the exact episode I thought was. I'm holding my solid with a rating of 9. In fact, I'm leaning 9.5. Okay.
Well done, Greg, on that result. Yeah, Grego's going through everything, really.
Yeah.
No, I was just cracking up laughing that you'd see off camera her pull the thing out of the ear and you got, because they all think they're dead and like they were already dead.
The thing goes, could you imagine like a family member hating somebody who came back and they started beating the little stuffing. I thought you were dead.
Therapy.
Get out of my pub.
I think ghosts were just the best human understanding of society and how people came to just being normal. With
Or like the part of the TV series thing that they said that she loved her ghost.
Oh, like Jerry Springer type thing.
Yeah, that was funny.
Time scales, maybe. There are some things that are in the pipe right now, but if we do, we'll probably, if it doesn't come to fruition, we will probably be reviewing Doomsday.
I heard something.
Can't wait for that.
There'll be a cat alert.
I don't rate anything but Tom Baker a 10. Yep. That's going to be hard to rate that. If we ever go into Classic Who, I'm just going to be 10, 10, 10, 10. Wait a minute. Is that the Talons of Wing Chiang? 20. So,
and what's crazy about the old Classic Who, when they used to loan it out to all the stations and everything, some people say that, it doesn't exist. But I remember watching things that they said don't exist, and I know they're sitting in those vaults somewhere and everything, that they're still, you know what I mean? Sure. And stuff, because you never know. Private collections, everything, you never know.
No, I actually came up with this theory back when Stephen Moffat and there were like episodes just coming out of nowhere in Nigeria and all that, and I just said, you know what, the honest truth, Stephen Moffat has all the episodes, and if he just needs another paycheck, or if he's buying his kid a pool, he sends another stay out.
So here's a question: okay, if we did do classic series, would we start at the beginning, working forward, or would we start and go backwards from 96 movie, going back to 60?
It's time travel. We can do it.
I know.
We can do whatever you want.
Yeah. And you got to find a station that actually has all the episodes.
That's true. That's the hardest one, to find the classic.
You may have to loan them to half of us.
And do we do all the black and whites and the ones?
Oh, wait, we have to explain black and white too when we do black and white, because some people, like my niece and nephew, when they were growing up, were like, "What's black and white?" And they were shocked when they saw it.
See, that's why I'm thinking it might be better off if we did it back to front. So we start with like the 8th Doctor, go to 7th Doctor, so it gets more.
It's a possibility.
And then we go black and white. Get it?
When we get to the 1st Doctor, the whole episode's in black and white.
Yeah, there's got to be a feature on here.
At least Rose Tyler returns with 9 for Big Finish. It's in time for my birthday too. So you're right.
That's going to be very interesting, because it's I like I said, I wish we could get Alex, Christopher, and like all of them together and stuff. You know what I mean? And everything, because that would be a knockout one. Like, oh, guess what? Hi, sweetie, back again. And then here's Rose. Like, who's this? The same way, like Sarah Jane was getting jealous of Rose and everything.
Empty Child might have been the first episode my wife and I watched together when it aired.
I think it's everybody's first one.
It was the gateway drug. I mean, like, I think when it finally took off, people were coming into that.
They remember it. It's very memorable.
Because when I had no cable, I was not watching Channel 21 here, and that was the episode I saw, The Empty Child. But I saw the end of it, and then when I heard the confidentials at the end, because they actually were showing it with the confidentials, I was like, when did Doctor Who do a new thing? And every time I raced back from waitressing, trying to get home in time to watch it, because it was always on at midnight.
Nick, you was talking about Shada.
Yes.
I just realised I've got 5 different versions of that episode.
Oh, goodness. Do you need 5 different versions?
Yes.
Wait.
Yes. Because they're all different.
Wait. What? There's 5 different. Wait. Okay,
there's
we need
Tom
this.
Baker's. There's Paul McGann's.
There's Tom Baker narration.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. There's the Tom Baker. Then there was the Paul McGann version.
Okay.
And then they did the teleprompt version with Tom Baker.
Okay.
Then they did the updated 2020 version, and then they did another one there's about 5 of them. I've uploaded it to my Plex server. So I've got like so many different versions of this one thing, and all of them are slightly different in some way. It's crazy.
Yes, do the whole stream in black and white, and guess what? We'll all be green screened in the back. Just
It'll be gray screened. Yeah,
they'll be green screened. I just want to address this, because this seems to be the talking point throughout the WHOniverse as of today, and I wanted to give my take on this. I wanted to hear what everybody thought. As far as people saying Shooty's fired, RTD Disney's done. RTD. Let me say this. When I'm going back to what I used to say before, I don't want to believe in conspiracy theories. So stop giving me reasons to believe in conspiracy theories. And this, to me, in this particular case, I couldn't go one way or the other because after what reading, and tell me if I'm wrong, my interpretation of what the BBC said, everything's okay, but we're not going to tell you what's going on.
That's my brick wall I got when I called my contacts. Yeah.
Okay. Now, yeah.
Chris, how many times have we been here before?
I know.
Okay. Sixth Doctor, the Seventh Doctor, Paul McGann.
Yeah.
The 10th Doctor, because I think there was going to access after the 10th Doctor. The thing with Doctor Who, and this is what I love, it always comes back. Whether or not you like the Doctor or not like the Doctor, the current Doctor per se, as in the actor or actress who plays the Doctor, Doctor's still always going to be there. And if it does go off the end, what happened in the
They'll make another song. They'll do another song.
They did like how many different, 3 different, like you had the Scream of Shalka, they had probably movie.
I think it will take time off. I don't think it will go away. I think it'll come back in some form or fashion. It might take time. Hopefully not 14 years. But for this particular run, it's hard to say because it's not like somebody, first of all, here are the facts that we really have. We don't know if there's a season 3. It's supposed to be they will give the word after the second season. I actually thought they were waiting for the spinoff before they made their acknowledgement.
And the spinoff's even on hold. That's what I don't understand why there's no news coming out on that.
Is the spinoff on hold?
They actually have no current news right now. Everything's like frozen. And I thought, like I said, when I talked to somebody, they said it's the contracts. So Disney's probably got to work something out to get the spinoff on because Disney's going to have that one. But then you also have Max that has some of the Doctor Who stuff as well.
See, the thing is, I'm not hearing anything concrete. And the thing is, I can, from both sides, from the naysayers and the yaysayers, I see both points of view. And everybody points to the thing where Shudigawa was on the Graham Norton show. And he mentioned Series 3, and that bit of it had to get pulled off the actual episode. Yep.
Because that's when the contracts were going in negotiation.
Exactly. So they pulled his dialogue about being in Series 3 got pulled.
And that's why they're pushing importance of being earnest and everything, because you notice that came out right after and everything. And they're probably thinking he's on hiatus and everything because he wants to do something else. Remember, he left Sex Education with Asa and everything and to do Doctor Who. And then could there be like, because he wanted to do other things and stuff, that could be like the throwback and everything until the contracts are settled.
To me, it would be like saying, hey, gang, we're going to have more episodes of the Traveling TARDIS, but I'm going to put everybody on vacation. I'm not going to tell you when they come back. And I'm starting this new series called Star Trek Podcast. So I'm just like, you're not giving me anything to say that I am like convinced that, like I said, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole where it's just like, oh, if they're,
it's just funny when you have to have BBC to sell the rumor. Usually they stay out of things or they, you know what I mean? Because I asked, are we getting a new Doctor for a regen or even like a half season where, like they regen during the middle season and stuff or something, They said
they already filmed Series 2. The question is Series 3 coming out? I truly believed after hearing everything, this is just my interpretation. I could be wrong. It's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. I truly think that Mouse Plus is having issues. And I think RTD is looking for a new home. Because, well, also, what else has happened? RTD says he's a part of a new drama. I'm like, okay.
And he just hired and they just hired 4 new writers, even though they're for season 2. Wouldn't you take them along into season 3 as well?
See, I would love it. I would love it if one of the new writers becomes the new showrunner. I'm not mentioning which name.
I think I know which one is. They're focusing on this person a lot.
Okay, but I know he had a lot of involvement with the Blu-ray collection. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying it's definitely concrete. I don't know, but I would like it because that writer is also a fan from both classic and new.
Right.
Roger, I see what you're saying. It's like, yeah, the sun's not reliable, but again, the statement that the BBC brought up wasn't reliable either. It was just like everything's fine. It's almost
they're
like
playing a down low, down key, and everything.
It's
Well,
Leslie
that's a typical-
Nielsen in the Naked Gun going, "Nothing to see here as the fireworks are going behind you." Just
But
like,
that's
Well,
typical
they put
British.
it back on, like with the episode with Fear Her, they put it back on BBC iPlayer, and then they took it off again. So
It's
it's
back
like
on now.
it's back again. So you see what I mean?
Yep.
Like we don't know what this is going to be, but we
No.
do have a confirmation that it is contracts. That we do know. There are contract negotiations going on because this is the time of season for contract negotiations and everything. So it's up to you guys if you want to write the mouse and everything and stuff, if you want to, because I mean, they have the spinoff show. No news has been out lately. They said they were still filming, but usually you get some spoiler pictures and things like that, and there's nothing. So are we even getting the spinoff, or they didn't get a buyer for the spinoff? You see?
Well, we know the filming is completed, but we don't know how long the effects are going to take. You know, that could be CGI heavy, and that might take months and months.
And that could sit for another year or so. And then that does that tie in with, because they said the end of season 2 ties into the spinoff, which means that it tie into season 3, and that's where the problem is. We're waiting on the spinoff to be finished.
And we forget as well with British like announcements, they won't tell you anything. They will say, but like if London was on fire, they'll just turn around and say, you know what, just carry on.
Grab a beer, let's go. Go to the pub, grab a pint, and let's go.
Wherever you go and carry on.
Wherever you go, make sure you have a glass of water. So just be on the safe side.
And a
But
towel.
yeah,
and a pack of peanuts.
Did you say a cow?
A towel.
Okay.
Yeah.
A towel.
And a pack of peanuts. All right.
And a pack of peanuts. You know, Space Journey can get a little bit like
Yep.
Yes, Arthur Dent.
dehydrated.
So now
Arthur Dent is canon in Doctor Who.
Yes, he is.
How does he have a 7th version of Shada?
Also, version 7.
Is that good?
Yeah, it was just the unwritten story, and it was written by Doug. For those of you who are not familiar with Shada, it was the writer's strike was taking place in the BBC, and this one episode.
It wasn't a writer's strike.
It wasn't a writer's strike?
No.
It was a national strike, national workers
Oh,
strike.
okay.
It was
wow.
3-day
The
week.
writers were writing.
Everyone was on strike. So council, everyone from like council to the thing, it was a massive thing in the 70s where it was just a 3-day week. Everything got shut down.
Gotcha.
We got no who.
There was a strike. It took place in the UK, and it delayed, and then eventually killed Shada, which was written by Douglas Adams. And I've seen the version where Tom Baker's narrating it. I saw the 8th Doctor version, and I'm hoping I can find the I think it's the animated version with Tom Baker, if I'm not mistaken.
I like that
And
one.
I want to see that.
We've done 2 variations of an animated one as well.
Yeah.
I wonder
You've
how
got
many
the standard
copies he's going to
one,
be signing at his
and
event.
you got the enhanced version as well.
Right. But yeah, I'm not relying on anything right now. I'm sitting here just going like the haters are going to say what they want, and I don't like using that word, but the naysayers are going to say what they think is happening. The yaysayers are going to say what they think is going to happen. But I want to take it from the horse's mouth. But again, I don't like conspiracy theories, so stop giving me reasons to have one. And that
I mean, our 2nd season Doctor and Companion were, like I said, we're out having fun and everything. They were posing with GQ. I mean, her dress was a little questionable, some people say, but I think it was a very pretty dress and everything.
Too many nuts, too many times. Are you talking about? Are you talking about food or the show? About us. So I think
yeah. I think we're doing this part 2 next week, or you think we'll let them know, right?
Well, yeah, let's go ahead and wrap it up for the night. Yeah, well, no, especially everybody left. So, speaking of nuts,
Everybody.
Well, I meant the other 2 who think
It is
left.
a whole
That's
third
why
of us. You're right.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
good people actually
announcement.
stayed, and because he's not here, I can do this. Pinky.
Marco.
Uh-oh.
Candyman. There he is.
He's
There he is.
back.
I didn't do that. You missed it. So anyway, just to let folks know, yeah, if we are trying to have a guest by next week, if not, and depending upon what our schedule looks like as far as guests coming on, because we have 2 guests in the wings and they just haven't confirmed when they're going to be coming on. Unfortunately, one had take family leave, so we're like, do what you need to do to take care of the family. Sure. This can definitely come later, but if for whatever reason nothing comes up, we are going to be planning to review Doomsday, which is the end of the
I know we have stuff coming up too at conventions, right? Or do we have anything coming up in the few months?
I think I can safely say at this point, after the discussion I had, we can safely say we should be going back to MegaCon. I'm just going to put it in show because it's way too early right now. But everything, the planets are aligned that we will be returning to MegaCon in 2026 in March. So that's, I think we can safely say we will be back with the Dalek Builders of Florida. We had an awesome time out there, and hopefully Jodie Whittaker shows up this time. So yeah, there were tons and tons of 13 cosplayers out there.
Yeah, all those pictures you took.
Yep, and I felt so bad. I made a video of all of them. They had so many. We had shorts and stuff out there. So definitely, and again, we want to thank everybody for supporting us. We're at what, 53.5 now?
Yeah.
I lost the number.
So, Christian, when you get to 100,000, are you going to ask YouTube, rather than the standard silver one, to get a blue plaque?
No, I'm going to buy myself a gold Rolex. With all
the blue one would be cool.
With all the money I didn't get, put shelled into the show. But yeah, I'm going to be asking for a plaque. I don't know if we can hang on the curtain back here, but definitely, I think we deserved it. We need to show it off. And, it's a testament to everybody who's been in the show, who's worked on it, who helped out. You guys are phenomenal. Sorry, Dave and Mark couldn't be here to hear it. I'm hoping they'll watch this again. But
I think Candyman's frozen.
Really? There we go. Mark, come in, Mark. Well, let me wrap it up. The testament to all of our team out here. I've actually made, if you go into our shorts, I made a special video for our teammates for hitting 50,000. So
yeah,
thank you guys out there. And definitely, without further ado, thank you to the audience members who subscribe to us, all 53,500 of you. Jeez, holy my God. And all the 7,000 YouTubers out there. I'll have 2 of you.
Oh no!
What? No.
Wait, I gotta screenshot this. Okay,
we'll have 2 of you.
This is cool.
So nice, we got them on twice. Yeah, exactly, Tom. Holy
I got a screenshot. This is funny. This is hysterical.
That is
all right. So, without further ado, Nick, where can people find you, my friend?
Please come and find me on my YouTube channel, Nick Smith Films, or my website, Nick Smith Films, and I'll see you there.
Got it. Gadget, where can people find you?
Everywhere, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. If you live in the Bronx, come by and say hi and everything. I'll put you to work to help clean this place and everything. But I will be at the Bronx Comic Con on August 2nd at I gotta get the name of the church. I forgot the name of the church. And I will be at Anime NYC later in the month of August. I'm still working on New York Comic Con. And possibly when the weather gets better, you might see me at the Bronx Zoo, Botanical Gardens, because I'm taking time for me now since I'm trying to find a job and everything. I figure maybe if I run into somebody, I'll find something. But you know what? Take time out for yourselves, because your mental health and your physical health do matter, guys, and everything. So
yeah,
it was a blessing what happened to me. And I'm not mad at everybody, but I am just upset that it had to come the way it did and everything. But I am glad I'm out of that toxic job. And I am happy to see all of you guys bringing us even more love with the 53K plus and everything. So we need that 100K. Come on, guys, and everything. And don't forget to pick up the books at lulu.com and everything. Unofficial D&D guide for kids under 10 and few adults. And my journey when I went to the UK, Copley and Newcastle Journey and Beyond. And there's a few Doctor Who tidbits in there, just alternate names right now and everything. So guys, check them out. They're really cool. And now that I have time, I can work on the other 3 books for the series.
And before you freeze up for the rest of the night,
I loved it. I loved it.
Man, my internet's just gone well flaky. But yeah, you can catch me here at the Legend of a Traveling TARDIS, and you can also catch me on Silver Geek Tea, which we did an episode yesterday all about pizza, and I love pizza. So it's awesome.
And you're talking about all the different types of pizza, right? The Italian pizza, the Mexican pizza, the Albanian pizza.
I'm talking about the Mark pizza.
I can't hear you.
I'm just talking about the Mark pizza.
Mark pizza.
Your pizza.
Oh, I heard stories about this. I have to next time if I ever get a chance to go back.
Freeze-dried pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Well, everybody, again, thank you for joining us. So looking down the bottom where you can see it scrolling, youtube.com, The Legend of the Traveling, / The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Please subscribe. Super chats and super thanks are always welcome if you want to contribute and make sure that this show keeps going. And we want to thank you all again. Please take care of yourselves until the next adventure. Thank you all. And I never get these buttons right. Say good night, Rose.
Night, Rose.
Pinky.
Good night, Pinky.
Pinky's like, new squeaky toy.
Oh, Dave's going to hate me. I don't care.